It's time for the show. I'm so excited for the show today. Spring has sprung. The show is live. Stop it.
It is
it's good.
Pretty
It's all good. That's a great
fantastically
segment.
gorgeous outside.
It
really
was.
is.
It was really spectacular out there.
It is.
So what's the show? What is the name of it?
This
No, we
show-
don't have to reintroduce
No,
it every
because
time.
it's already introduced.
Everything's
Did we do
done.
an introduction?
Yeah,
We're
AJ's
here.
got the whole thing. It's all good.
Yeah, we did an introduction. Then every time we start the show, we do
We
another
say
one.
the same crap, which has to turn people off.
I know, it's like,
It probably
God,
does.
We know
That's
the show is named. What about this idea? I did it. I did that.
Just killing that retention rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the first 30 seconds ruin the show. Woo! It gets better after that, I promise.
Well, the second half is really the best part.
We're 42 seconds in. They're like, well, I already left, so you don't get it.
Listen, this is why you preview clips from later on in the episode
Yes.
to tease people.
Yeah.
But
Where,
you need
when
to say
you actually
something.
do the fun stuff.
Yeah, you need to say something really edgy though, something that like people really care about. Like AI is going to murder everyone.
There you go. And then you can put that in as a clip. That's what you
Yeah,
say.
and so you just like very seriously like say directly to the camera, AI will murder everyone. Stay tuned for more.
Yeah. Oh man, we do need her.
AJ's gonna have fun with that one.
Yeah.
Judgment Day is inevitable.
Our video editor.
There's no shortage of stupid crap that I know that I have personally have said. Juliet is much more articulate and thoughtful.
I can tell, yes.
That's
You're
so
the smart
sad,
one.
Sam. That's the saddest thing I ever heard.
So she really rounds out the show. And then, but between the two of us and our classy guests that we've had, I mean, we have fake flowers on the show. That
You
is.
didn't have to say they were fake. It's spring. It looks.
It's
These
real.
are real flowers.
You can tell on the camera, totally real.
These are real
These are all
flowers
real
brought to you by
plants.
AI.
Yeah, but yeah, there's no shortage of stupid crap on our show to cut out in clips. We're clip-o-rama.
Clip-o-rama.
Did you see my hashtags from the other day?
Your hashtags?
Hashtags. Because I don't know how to do hashtags. I don't really get it.
I did not. I didn't investigate your hashtags.
It was like hashity hashtag. And
hashtag?
hashity hashtag.
Hashtag.
And
You know, I don't think that's what the point of that
hashtags.
is. I don't think that's how that works.
I think it does, though. I think that little hashtag's out there in the world doing its job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I did not check out your hashtags, but now I'm
Oh,
really,
yeah, I'm getting cleverer with them as time goes on.
Them. I'm very impressed.
Hashtag first world problems.
I'm gonna revolutionize the hashtag world.
Sure, bro.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, we were just stunned silent.
it's right.
With, like awe and wonder. Yeah.
It's ripe for
That's what we
disruption.
were-
It's just been out there doing its thing for a while. It needs
was.
disrupting.
It does. It needs disrupting.
Yep.
Okay.
And hashtag is going to do it.
It's gonna do it.
Yeah, I
It's gonna
think
do
so. Exactly.
Whew, well,
All right, what
should
are we doing
stop?
here today?
Yeah.
We're
What,
not
you
done.
think that's it?
I don't know.
Well,
It felt like a
listen,
good.
listen,
good-
I
The
know-
most amazing guest. We have to do something.
Oh.
I am the most amazing. I got
You
a
are.
haircut today and
So-
everything, just
Yes.
for this.
That's a big
Generally
deal.
speaking, Juliet has invited people on the show who she knows fairly well. So so we've had those conversations. We both have had people. We've had people on the show we've never met before, and we really like that
Yeah.
because we get to know people on the show. And in this case, I know you just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you just reintroduced or just met Juliet today?
I think we just met.
I mean, you
We
were.
did just
Have
meet
we?
and you wouldn't let me look her up, so I have no idea.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
true.
her so far, but
Well, she was at Twin Ignition, so back when we were sponsored at
but
Twin
I
Ignition.
didn't really see you there very
Interesting.
much.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, I think you were at the soup day, right?
I mean, honestly, I only go to work
chili
when
day.
I have to.
We had a chili contest? Were you?
No, I was not at a chili.
Oh, well, there you go.
contest.
That would have been the only opportunity.
That was
I
a good
think.
day.
It was, that was fun.
I really sounds like I missed out.
It was really good chili, I have to say.
There was a lot of good chili.
Deer chili,
That one didn't. I think it was the wrong crowd.
Mexican chili, and
Yeah, some
beef chili, and
Green-
chicken
green
like a creamy chicken.
There was one that had
chili.
some.
I mean, these are the details that our listeners need to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the chili was really good.
There was one that had
That was
some.
the day we could have met, and we didn't.
I'm so sorry. I missed Chili Day.
And so
Well, I don't wanna
today
stop, though.
is
There
a
was one-
non-chili day.
With some Middle Eastern-y type spices in it.
There was.
Like, I
Oh,
was
that's
like,
always
that's
exciting.
different.
It was all
That's
really
different.
good.
That's Minnesota for that's.
Whew, man, someone was really going all out.
I know.
Yeah.
So-
I was just an eater that day, so
Just an eater.
I rode the
Listen.
coattails of everyone else's chili.
I'm really proud of you.
And I tasted
I
every
think we
single
would've-
one of them.
That's challenging. That's a bold move.
And then we went to Dusty's Dagos.
We did later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, the good old days. Are you having fun with us as we reminisce?
About chili
Who is our guest today?
at a party I didn't go to.
Yeah, super fun.
Oh, but we'll have her name up already, right? So people
We will,
know.
but it's Carolyn.
But people just listen
Holden.
to us.
Yeah, they don't. Well, there's the audio version too. That's right. And we got our new mics on today,
I
so we
know,
don't have
I'm
mics in our
feeling
face.
really weird about this. I feel naked without my mic.
Do you? But
yeah.
But you're wearing it. Like now it's an article of your clothing.
I know that feels weird.
do you think
know.
we can get into
Like
this?
we
though?
gave up the headphones, we gave up the microphones,
I know.
and now
This is the
it's
way that-
just the creepy cameras looking at us.
This is the way the youth of the world are doing it, though.
This is what the
No, no,
youngins
no, no.
are doing.
No, what the youngins are doing is they're taking the microphones like this and they're holding
Holding
them up
them.
to their mouth like this
Yeah.
on TikTok, saying, "Can you believe?"
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, it's totally bizarre. I love it.
Why would they do that?
I don't know, something about it being authentic. You know, the kids these
Oh.
days, they like authentic things. The
You know how much
babies, you know?
how much time and effort has gone into the making of authentic these days? Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
Authenticity.
yeah, like I really, really worked
Time
hard
and
to make
effort
sure.
gone into making things authentic.
Yeah.
Everyone's
That's
always
true.
You get what I'm saying? It's
You know
like,
what?
It's like everything's so hyper sanitized.
That
We get
really
these-
It is.
differentiates our show, I have to say.
I would say
It really does, because this is truly authentic, as you can imagine.
Well, and it's funny for me because
different.
I've always been really obnoxious about not having things be super polished on social media. And so my friends would sometimes be like, "Why did you post that photo like that?" And I'm like, "I'm fighting back against
feel like that's-
the Instagram filters." And they're like, "Carolyn, you're not representing yourself in the best light." And I'm like, "I don't care." And then,
No,
and
why
then the
would you
Gen
care?
Zers came into the scene and they're like, "Yeah, let's look like a mess." And I'm like, I've been cool. I was like cool before it was cool.
It's cool before it was cool.
If you're-
in
Listen,
COVID.
I was a Gen Z hipster and I didn't even know it. And
Right? But if you're not a Gen Z, then are you a millennial?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I know. I'm just boring. I'm elderly now at this point.
Well, what does that make us? Like, we're not boomers, but
You're the kids these days.
we're Gen X.
Yeah.
We're Gen X.
Yeah. Listen, we all love and respect Gen X.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do you think about Gen Xers?
What do I think about Gen Xers?
Yeah,
I
let's hear it.
mean,
From a
every
millennial.
Well, it's so funny, like as a millennial, because I'm like kind of in the middle, but sort of younger, right?
Right.
And so like Gen Xers were always like the really cool, like teenagers or grown-ups when I was like a kid, right? And so it
Right.
was always like you guys were super cool. Well,
Back then
right.
we were.
That's right.
and it's funny because then like in high school and college I kind of was not really aware of what Gen Xers were doing, if that makes sense. And then when I got in the workplace, like you guys were always the best mentors. Like boomers, not helpful.
No, they're not.
Nah.
They're not. It's
Boomers
we
are
got
just-
we got a boomer infestation in this country.
We really do.
We got a few too many. I love you.
They're
But we got
they're
some
really
problems with some
loud.
boomers.
It's just there's just a lot. That's why
There's
they
a
call
lot.
them boomers.
And they
still,
don't-
They still want to run everything.
and they don't know what the concept of retiring is.
yeah, no, they're
It's,
like,
really
I'm going
awful.
forever.
Like when are we gonna get our first Gen X president? Like that's what I'm wondering.
Isn't it weird?
I know.
Wasn't?
Like Pete Buttigieg is like, we're skipping you guys, and it's like, Pete, that's kind of rude. Come on.
Yeah, let the Gen Xers
totally
go for a
rude.
little while anyway.
Yeah.
What's
We're good
who
at
am I
running
thinking
things.
of from Breakfast Club? With the iconic at the end.
The bag one.
What's his name though?
I don't know, I'm millennial.
Yeah.
It's not a Sheen. It's the other one.
It's not one of the Sheens.
I'm a millennial.
I got it right away.
I should know. I should.
Breakfast Club.
No, we should know. We should know. But I forget who that is. But yeah,
Judd
Judd.
someone?
Yeah, Judd. Judd Nelson? Was it? No, that's someone else. His last name was Judd.
We are not going to do
Oh,
this
we're so
on
bad.
Okay. We
Well, we
gotta,
already did.
We're gonna skip ahead because
That's fine.
the reality is, in 5 minutes, we're gonna remember and we'll come back.
Right.
That's true.
Yes.
But
So-
like that, when you think of when you think of a Gen Zer becoming president, you think of like Eddie Vedder or something, like well, maybe we shouldn't let the grunge dude in or maybe we should. Could it be worse? Could we do? Could things get stranger than what we've had the last, this whole cycle?
I think it could.
I know it could. I know it could.
We can we knock on all the wood here?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that we want to be making any bets on the show about whether
no.
it could get worse.
It seems to me politics is now, we always end up doing this, but it seems to me politics has gotten so like voting in the homecoming queen and king. That's what it feels like now. It's like, how popular can you be? What can you say to me to make me feel like you know me?
I mean, from my perspective, it more seems like it will be the end of the world if not everybody participates. Everyone must vote. Every election is the end of the world.
Yeah, it feels like that. Yeah, and
Homecoming king and queen would be fun. Because then it's like,
I know, but it feels like
if
that's
they were that
how
shallow,
we're choosing
like if the whole
people.
thing were that shallow, like, well, is it going to be Veronica and Jimmy, or is it going to be?
I think
Sally and
Kamala's hair
Stevie?
is cuter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Maybe we need that.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We do this. I got to think of a better word. We tiptoe. We tiptoe around politics on this show. We don't. We're not actually. I'm not trying to. I was with
A wise move.
I was with a group the other day, and someone mentioned the idea of sort of not having an opinion about something, like that it was okay to not have an opinion.
Yeah.
And I thought about that for a second, and I was thinking, how about I have an opinion, but how about if I just recognize my opinion doesn't matter, and then not really make it about like trying to correct other people's things.
Well,
I still have an opinion. We can talk about it.
Well, it's
but I'm
good
not
to
gonna fight anyone
identify that
about it.
opinion, but it doesn't mean that you have to like vehemently defend it
Right,
in
I'm
the
not gonna-
conversation, right? It's like, okay, have that opinion, and then listen to the other opinion.
Yeah, but
That's right.
also,
And let's
like,
not
not
fight.
everybody should share their opinion. There's been not like
Says
not
the millennial.
no,
No, that sounds like
everybody is-
something we would say.
not
Like, you
everyone
kids
is-
should shut up. Yeah.
You're forgetting the millennials are growing
I
up.
learned that from boomers.
But there's been a few interesting things on TikTok recently. Like, I don't know how on that you are, if at
No,
all.
I can't stand it.
But there's this gal, Elise Myers, who has just like a phenomenal show, super funny, super relatable, and she just kind of does day-to-day like funny stories and jokes, right? Like that's her brand. She literally lives in Omaha, Nebraska. Like, okay, she's just having a good time. And she got harassed off of TikTok for not taking a stand on the Israel-Gaza crisis. And it's kind of like, why do you expect Elise Myers
What does it matter?
to have a
what her
fully
opinion on it is?
formed opinion on Gaza?
But there again, it's not people wanting you to have an opinion or whatever, or caring about your opinion. It's them wanting your opinion to align with their opinion.
Yeah.
Which is different. Like, I don't really know what to think of that whole mess. It makes me want to cry for both sides. What the hell are you people doing? You're killing each other. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know who's right or wrong. They both have done nasty stuff.
Oh, don't even start that.
Yeah, I'm just
We're
saying.
not going down the
We're
Gaza
not. No, we
trail.
are not.
No,
We
not
are
at all. I agree. I agree, but I would say the point.
Do I need to kick you off this show?
Sam, I am not,
I need to find a
not
different
getting
call.
canceled because of this
No,
podcast.
I know. You could. Who knows? No, the idea is, it's fine if you have opinions, but why are people in America fighting over this stuff so hard? Like, that's the part I just don't
Just
fully
like
understand.
we're just in this era of fighting. I think in looking
Anger about
back on
everything.
this, it's like it was fun to have tension. We didn't have.
I don't find
you
that
You
fun.
think back to you think back to like World War II, right? That like brought everyone. I know you know your history though.
Post World War II.
Neither one of us were, but even during, right? Everyone was pitching in. Everyone was.
There was a common
it
enemy.
Brought us together. There was a common enemy.
Well, we might get there if we keep this shit up. We might get to, you know what I mean? I'm afraid for that. But anyway, all right.
This is
So
not
Carolyn,
a politics show.
so Carolyn, what are
not
you
my
doing
brand.
here?
What am I
talk
doing
about, Jen? Texters,
Louise.
politics, and
Oh
more
my gosh.
too.
Okay, so what am I doing here? What am I doing on this show?
Yeah, what you do? Do you know what this show is?
No, I was a bit disappointed when you guys said, "Oh, we don't want to just redo the intro right at the top," because you told me that this is a show
Yeah.
where you invite people on and you give them no prep and you don't tell them anything. So I very carefully did not look anything up. I don't know what's happening.
This is
Yeah.
actually perfect.
I am just telling a lot of
That's funny.
jokes here. But
Yeah.
then we got into like this rabbit hole about Gen X and millennials. And
that
Gen
one was
Z
fun. I liked
and
that one.
Politics. It was a good time.
Yeah.
But can someone explain what's happening? Like,
So,
why am I here? I don't know, Sam.
That's exactly perfect. So that makes 2 shows now that I run where people don't
I
know.
think that this one should be a little more buttoned up.
I think it could be. And I think generally,
I mean, I did get my hair cut for this.
yeah, I think, and it looks great.
Thank you.
It looks great. You did.
I tried really
Whoever
hard.
did it did a wonderful job.
Thank you, Dolly.
There you go. I think that people do know, most of our guests have done a little research on us before,
Oh, okay.
and most of our guests, Juliet has probably done a little research on them before they come in. I haven't. I never do. I like winging it.
I'm glad that we
This
have.
is a show, by the way.
I think she's trying to tell me
This was
something with her eyes.
initiated about both Sam and I are entrepreneurs. We live around entrepreneurs,
Fabulous.
right? I think we both think very entrepreneurially, and also nobody has any idea what that means.
Yeah.
So there is no perfect path to becoming a business owner, or entrepreneur, or any of those things, and so. We didn't want to have a step-by-step, this is exactly what you should do and not do to become an entrepreneur. What we wanted was to share stories about people who have that way of thinking, right? Someone who sits in the bar, writes an idea on the back of a napkin, and actually does something about it, right? Now,
Fails miserably.
here's the toils.
That's what I do.
Here's the stories. Here's the stories of trying to establish that thing, that idea, into a business. And so it could be anything. It could be a story about initiating something. It could be a story about failing at something. It could be a story at building something to an amazing heights. It could be accidentally getting noticed by someone. It's whatever comes out.
Yeah, I think that was a very good summarization.
Amazing.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad she knows what's going on.
It's generally the rule that yes, if you want to know what's going on in this business of ours, you ask her. Ask Juliet.
So thank God you're here.
It's funny. I
He
do.
was like pitching this to me, and I'm like, this is gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was just gonna be I didn't even know you were here. I thought it was gonna be the 2 of us.
Well, that's on her.
It's okay. She
could've-
still came.
He said not
she
to
got
do
her hair done and she showed up.
I followed instructions to the book.
To the
That's
T.
good. You're very good. You're very
You're
rule
Listen,
following.
I'm very good at following.
So
rules.
somehow or another, Sam thought
yeah.
that you had some stories in this realm.
So another part of it, and I think you touched on this. But entrepreneurial wisdom learned through shared experience, like through stories, right? That's a lot of kind of what we're shooting for. So yeah, I mean, you've had an entrepreneurial
Journey.
kind of. You can't. We know this about the entrepreneurs that come on the show. You can't help yourself. Everyone
Yeah.
else is like, I got me a new job, or they're out of work and they're looking for work and they're like, I don't know what to do. And an entrepreneur, you can spot them a mile away. They're like, well, I'm doing 4 different things and none of them are working, but I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Like they're always doing something.
It's like normal people are like, ooh, look, a ladder. Let me climb it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, a rainbow.
Right. Right. And then a different rainbow and something else. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
An eclipse. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, squirrel.
Wow.
Yeah.
If I could make something of that, or what about this idea? So that's that's the name of the show, and there's a reason for it. And we have taken on this added layer of asking people so you can get this in your head. So if you can talk to us and we'll get to know you,
Yeah.
but then also in the back of your mind, think about the big idea that might not ever come to fruition, or you've been holding on to it since childhood, or
Yeah.
you got this thing. Because we also talk about like people's big ideas.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a fun new twist. Thanks, Kelsey.
It was Kelsey.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Kelsey
Kelsey.
Sharp.
She even came with an idea.
We hadn't. We
She's prepared?
Yeah.
I told you, some people prepare.
Yeah.
You told me not to prepare.
Did I tell you this in the email invite? Where it says, we
I
don't
suppose
prepare,
it
neither
said.
should you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all-
You really
it's
did
all
take
good.
that literally.
I
Everyone else is
Okay,
like,
so if we met at a cocktail party,
okay.
Yeah.
you and I
Yes.
rocked up at a cocktail party, and I said,
rocked up?
those are nice shoes.
Oh, thank you.
Who are you? What would you say?
Well, first of all, I question you because these shoes are so beat up. There's no possible way. Like, I'm not going to
it
pull
was
them
a
out
metaphor.
here. They're too
Or a-
okay. Like, I've got these.
Similar?
I got these
Similar.
leather black booties, and I have not shined them in way too long. There's like a part of them that's like a chunk that's missing. Like, there's no way you'd be complimenting these.
Okay, well,
But-
well,
if
what
you
if she
did-
said lovely haircut?
Oh,
or,
that
or
would
your,
be-
say, wow.
Yeah, your hair is
Where did you get your
so
hair done?
shiny and
Ew.
twisty and whatever today.
Wavy.
Curly?
Wavy.
Wavy? Thank you.
Wavy.
Twisty?
It kind of was curly before, and it's kind of. I don't even know what it
No,
looks
it's
like at this
wavy.
point. It's wavy. We made it. But if I were to describe myself at a cocktail party, you said the question is like, tell me about yourself.
Well, I mean, like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
What
That's
do I
what
do?
usually you say. Like, who are you?
I know.
How do you know these people?
Well, we're getting
Right.
now we're finding our bearings.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Where did I grow up? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
See,
we're finding our bearings. It's good.
Okay,
this is how we do this.
What
That's
you
right.
guys are going to realize in the course of this interview is that I don't have a straight answer for anything because I have too many answers, which is a bit of a problem. So,
I
so
know
where
this.
did I?
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
where did I grow up?
Yeah.
Well, I was born in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for a while, and eventually we moved to Minnesota for 2 years. That was it. My whole family's from Minnesota.
How
but
old were you
I'm not. I
at that
was
point?
first and second grade.
Okay.
So like I don't know. 8,
6 and 7.
6, 7, something like that.
Yep.
And then after that, I had the biggest culture shock of my life when I moved to Connecticut.
Okay.
So we were
Too
in.
many white people?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think of when I think of Connecticut.
Listen.
A lot of
Not
affluent,
what I would have said.
a lot of
but
affluent
okay.
white folks.
Listen here, the white people in Minnesota here are like blonde and Norwegian
Yes.
and like really, really nice. And the white people there are like blonde and Norwegian or English and like wearing designer brands and are really mean. So like it's a totally
Told you.
different vibe.
I knew it. Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Thank you, Connecticut, for sponsoring.
Sorry
about this
this
idea.
Connecticut.
It's okay, I lived
We
there.
lost them.
Lived there for 15 years. You know it's true. So I moved to Connecticut in the 3rd grade, and I had lived out in Minnetrista when I was here in Minnesota. It was a forest at the time. There really weren't that many houses there. It's completely different now.
You just shot from. You moved to Connecticut in 3rd grade. I'm living in Minnetrista. You missed some steps. You moved back here.
I rewind.
Oh, okay,
Come on,
okay,
come on,
okay.
keep up.
We're jumping.
You
We're jumping.
clearly aren't on TikTok or you're not used to the pace. Man.
No, I'm fucking. She just called me old, which is right. Yes,
no,
you're right.
I just said you're clearly not on TikTok.
Yeah,
that
'cause
could
I'm old.
mean a variety of things.
Mostly. You're right.
But so when I moved from Minnesota to Connecticut, I was basically like in the forest, and I was obsessed with wolves, and I always wore wolf T-shirts. So I want you to
Did
imagine
you say in the forest or
Yeah.
florist?
forest.
Okay, in the forest.
I was not in a forest.
You had-
Oh my
What
God.
she's saying is back in the day,
Back in the
Minnetrista was woods.
It was
and
the
then
woods.
she moved to Connecticut.
Connecticut, and
Which was not woods.
So I want.
Thank you.
So it was not woods,
asked
but
a
I also
clarifying
want you
question.
to picture like little, like 8-year-old wolf girl coming out of the forest wearing only wolf T-shirts, showing up with all these little girls who looked like they came straight out of Mean Girls. All right, they had the pink mini skirts, they had designer purses in the
grade?
3rd grade. They're all obsessed with their lipstick, and they got like hair straighteners from their big sisters. It was absolutely bananas.
All right. You're painting a picture here.
So I
It's
was.
a mean 3rd grade class. I'm telling you, I was like still finger painting or whatever.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, that was kindergarten back in
Yeah.
good old Chicago, you know. So got a pretty strong dose of culture shock pretty early on, and automatically fish out of water. So, oh my gosh,
You felt a little
entrepreneurial being right there.
right.
That's right. It's the
But you
first
felt
kernel.
a little. You felt a little isolated and and alone and
Yeah.
like you didn't fit in?
Well, I was really good at making friends, but I was still definitely like the weirdo. I was the hyper kid. I was super creative. I always wanted to do something that was completely different. And
Did any of the little girls, were they like, she's weird as hell, but I like her?
yay.
Were there a couple of those around?
Well,
Yeah.
my very first friend who I made was this girl, Ellen. Hi, Ellen. She is an absolute delight, and she was wearing like a tie-dyed T-shirt and big baggy shorts. Already a good sign.
Okay.
And so she,
Sounds cash. I like her. I got it.
so she came up to me and she goes, "Hi, I'm Ellen. What's your name?" And I'm like, "I'm Carolyn." She goes, "Where are you from? You just moved here, right?" I'm like, "I'm from Minnesota." And she goes, "My mom is from Wisconsin."
Oh.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we're enemies." And she says, "Let's be friends." So that was my first friend. It was a good time.
I love that.
So glad to find a fellow Midwesterner. So I was out east for a long time, and then eventually I went to New York for high school. I graduated and went to St. Olaf College.
When people say New York, you have to.
I know, I was in the suburbs.
I was gonna say, well, you have to differentiate between
Upstate.
New York or all of New York.
I was in Westchester. Come on.
Okay. So more not like the
Yeah, it was. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a private school. It was right over the border. It was like a 10-minute drive. Like,
Yep.
who cares?
You pick up the.
She did right
the
there.
New Yorker
I did.
accent.
Little East Coast.
Yeah.
Listen,
there.
I got it.
Little coasty.
You can't. Nah, I can't. I was telling somebody this earlier today. I am really screwing up all of my East Coast accents these days.
If you don't practice them, they kind of get screwy.
I know, and so I used to have like a fluent New York and New Jersey and Long Island, and now they all sound the same. And I'm like, dang it! They used to be distinctive voices.
I only have one, and it's like half Mexican and half something German or something. I don't know. It doesn't work. I only have one. I try, and it doesn't work ever. Anyway, so
man.
I get it. You lose them.
Dear.
You lose them.
So went to St. Olaf College, majored in film. Spent some summers at UCLA, all sorts of shenanigans. Graduated, moved back to New York.
What does majored in film mean?
It means I majored in film production and film studies. So I spent 2 summers at UCLA where I took a ton of different film production courses. I also took a creative production
Is
class.
that what someone does when they want to make like documentary films, or is that something people do when they want to work in the film industry?
Both.
Okay.
So the first summer was very much like actual production. So figuring out how to do lights, how to do microphones, cameras, all that jazz, ranging from anything from like a simple DSLR to I think the fanciest cameras we got to work with. We had some old school like big TV cameras that we were playing around
Right.
with, but the fancy cameras everyone wanted were the red cameras, right? Everyone's obsessed with those. Or at least they were back in, 2010.
Did you meet your husband in college?
I did.
No shit.
I had a little.
You got a little vibe there,
I
didn't you?
know.
I had a little feeling that he did his understanding of lighting and production
Yes.
alongside you at St. Olaf.
Yes. So my husband Dave, I met him. We don't know when we met. We met on the
I
first.
got a lot of friends from college like that too.
We met on the first day of school. We met on the first day of school, and we were within like 2 different friend groups who like bumped into each other on the first day, and then we just kept hanging out. And so I remember seeing this group of handsome lads and chatting with them. And I had a line at one point when people would say, "Are you Carolyn or Caroline?" And I have a new one now, which is the one I used for you guys earlier today, which is my name is Carolyn, but it's spelled wrong. My parents messed it up. It's caused problems ever since. But the old line
So
was...
that's a standard line for
So
you.
that's one that I use all the time. But there is another line that I used to use, which was always fun, and was the one that I used to introduce myself to my future husband, which was, "Oh, my name is Carolyn, unless Sweet Caroline is playing. Then I'm Caroline." What I didn't know is that we were at St. Olaf College.
Yeah.
Well, I was aware of that fact, but what I didn't realize was that every young man basically was in the choir. And so these gentlemen just immediately broke into song and sang Sweet Caroline. Oh. And it was very romantic.
Were you always, from then on, Caroline?
Well, no.
Yeah, that
I have
would
another
sort of-
name
might
I
sort of
just
cement
changed
it.
my name
We
to
can't.
Caroline.
We can't. I have so many name stories. It's a problem. But one of the better ones was, and there was only one time that I truly attempted to be Caroline. And it was when I was lucky enough to switch from public to private for high school.
Oh, so you like spent a period of time where you were like, no, call me Caroline.
Yeah. So I switched schools, and I was like, you know what?
I did something like that.
I am so sick of everyone being like, are you Caroline or Caroline? And then having to be like, my parents spelled my name wrong. It's very embarrassing. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to a new school. Nobody knows me. I'm going to introduce myself as Caroline, because Caroline sounds more sophisticated anyway, according to me, 15-year-old. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go and I'm just going to be Caroline. And I was successful for 2 whole months.
Okay.
And then I made a fatal error, which was I hosted a Halloween party. And I invited my new friends and my old friends.
Confusing for them.
Oh boy. And they were like, you pretentious bitch.
Within 5 minutes.
Sorry.
With the
You
worst.
changed your name.
Worse. In 5 minutes, they figured out that they were calling me a different name. And my childhood friends who I'd known from the very first day of school, which yes, included Ellen, were like, I've known Carolyn ever since she moved here from Minnesota, and her name is Carolyn spelled wrong. And then my new high school friends say, I met Caroline last week, and she yelled at me for calling her Carolyn. She is very obviously Caroline, and she even mentioned that it's spelled Caroline.
You
idiot. It's obviously I'm Caroline.
you really put yourself into the middle of a movie moment.
And that's the day that I gave up.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
Call me what you call me.
My parents spelled my name wrong. I respond to both, and I don't notice if somebody calls me the other name. But every once in a while, I will have someone in my life who goes around correcting people. One of my old bosses in New York used to correct people every time she heard them calling me Caroline, and it was like this whole thing. And then people would come up to me and apologize and be like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to call you Caroline. And I'm like, I don't care.
You know, when I've got 3 kids in school, 17, 15, and 7. And when I look at the list of kids in the classroom and the names that are out there these days, for you to have, like, for the difference between Carolyn and Caroline to be that large a portion of your life when all the kids have
Crazy names now.
Thank you. I didn't know the right word. I love them. The names are great.
Yeah.
But it's not little Stevie, Johnny, Jimmy, and Sally anymore. It's
know.
like
It's
all the names. All the names.
And I think the trend of like going after the like super, super old school names is really funny to me, because like now we're having like new little kids like Bertha coming out of nowhere, and that
Wilhelmina and stuff.
Exactly. And I find it so
Love
amusing.
that.
I know.
I love
Those are
it.
great names.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Those are great
Well,
names.
it's our grandparents or great-grandparents, those would have been all their names.
Oh yeah,
So,
exactly.
You know.
And that's kind of the vibe, and I like that. But there
Our
are some.
grandparents are our age.
No, no. Listen, my
kidding.
great aunt Vonnie just passed away a couple of weeks
Vonnie,
ago.
was it Vonnie or was it Yvonne?
Lavon, yes.
Ooh.
And she was 101 years old.
Whoa.
Yes.
But her name is very popular again.
Yeah.
Lavon.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but
I think it is.
I could see it happening.
Yeah. I think it is.
Listen, the century has passed, and now we get to
goodness.
take all the names from 100 years ago.
I like it.
That's a great time.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably try to go back on track.
Oh, yeah.
We're just gonna. I think we should just give her control.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there are times when I wonder if we shouldn't pass the show over to our guests and just be like, listen, you're hosts. We're the guests this time. Like, we're unruly. You got this. You do it.
Listen,
all you.
we're all entrepreneurially minded people, which means we all want to be in charge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I don't know you that well, so I
know.
don't want this to be in any way offensive. But
And
your
we
brain
haven't
operates
gotten
pretty
out-
quickly, doesn't it? It's like pretty fast up there. There's a lot. Woo,
there's a
it's
lot
fast.
happening. Listen, I got the Izzy's.
It's a good thing.
I got
and I
the
know,
sugar on purpose.
I know other entrepreneurially minded people who for whom that's the case. You know, like there's it was not meant as an insult in any way. It's just I'm trying to keep up.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm always going a mile a minute, and also
Yeah.
we're like starting to get into the career stuff, but we're still in like the childhood trauma of my name.
You're right, and we're like 30. We're almost through the first half, so let's do this. Let's do this. You go.
All right, so speed run. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just gonna list everything.
Yeah.
And then we can pick and like dive into different sections.
Yeah,
of the
sure.
shot.
After
Let's
the
do it.
break,
Okay.
let's do that. That's
Okay,
a great idea.
Well, we
fabulous.
don't have to take. Yeah. Oh,
No, she's going to tell us it
I
all.
see. I took.
I
it on.
see.
I got
So,
it. Yeah, you
okay.
go. You go.
And then we need a
He's very
commercial.
slow.
Listen, we need commercial breaks. We need money, you guys. This is
I know,
important.
right? It is important.
This is what
It's
sponsors
very
are
important.
for.
We need
Yeah,
sponsors.
Sponsors.
We do. I think we're sponsorable.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
If you would like to sponsor this show, please call these two, not me.
Yeah. Or you can call her, and then you can say,
I can pass
you can-
along the info.
yeah,
That's true.
That's right.
Okay, but like the bullet
bullet
point
points.
list. Okay, so
College,
film
film.
major. Got a job in advertising at McCann in New York, so working on big mega brands. And then I quit to be a freelance comedian for 6 years in the city.
Like a stand-up comic.
Mostly an improv mostly an improv and sketch comedy gal.
Okay, yeah.
But I do special occasion stand-up, which is why I keep getting asked to be an MC.
Gotcha.
Everyone keeps wanting me to like tell jokes at startup events, and I'm
Right.
like, guys, this is serious. This is serious business.
Yeah. Startup events, like that's a tough crowd, I'm sure. I've seen you do it now once. So I was at the event the other night at the Carlson School, and you
So-
did a great job. But yes, you've got these people who are kind of in serious mode, and then every few minutes, Carolyn gets up there and is like, "Hey, everybody, what's up?" And it was great. They need you.
Yeah.
You know, they really do, because it was a little stuffy. I liked it. It was good. They did great. But, those types of events can be a little on the stuffy
It's
side.
hard when you have the medical science nerds, you know, who have the double whammy problem of both knowing too much about medical things and knowing too much about engineering, and then they try to communicate and they've already, you know, gone past English. They've just gone into the beyond.
Right.
It's just really hard to reel them back in sometimes.
Yeah. And I mean, doing wonderful things. I am not, again, well, I lost them as a sponsor. Too darn it.
All right.
I just keep ruining sponsorships.
Okay, so back to the list of my
Yes,
career,
yes,
which we have
list of
been
your career.
immediately derailed. Okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
so
Sorry.
so film major, advertising, comedy, venture capital.
Like as an agent within a venture capital company looking for people to give money to?
I
Like one of those people? Jeez Louise. We can get
Agent just sounds like it's like
whatever they are.
CIA
You're looking
agent.
for analyst or associate. That's the term that you're
Associate.
looking for. No, I actually crash landed on the front desk and then rose up the ranks and ended up working on like a crazy wide variety of projects. So we can go back to that.
Well, we can get into that because I'm always curious about
And
venture
then
capital.
I went to go work for a grocery delivery startup called Mercado, which was particularly crazy. And I recommend coming back to that.
Yeah.
And then I contracted for a startup here in town, another grocery delivery app called Buncha. Then I built my own startup, Home Surfin'.
Not grocery delivery, I hope.
No, not grocery
For God's
delivery.
sake,
No,
how many
this
do there need to be?
no, this was real estate. That was a different type of mistake.
Okay.
And so
She's a true entrepreneur.
I know.
She's real.
We are good at this.
I know, right?
And then I shut down my startup, and ever since then, I've been just doing random contract things, and I'm job hunting, which I heard you can help me with.
I that's what I do.
I would
That's what I
appreciate
do.
money.
Yeah.
That is my life
What do
goal.
you mean that's what you do?
I mean,
This is what you do.
I mean, this is what I do.
This-
but
you have
also,
something else?
One of my entrepreneurial endeavors is I have an executive recruiting company.
This is excellent news.
Juliet, what sort of executives do you recruit through this company, and what's its name?
Am I
It's
one of the executives?
Notice we're sponsorless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll see if we can reach out to the top brass at that company.
That's right.
Let's see.
So I have a company called Avid Edge, and it does
what a lovely
executive
name.
recruiting, retained executive recruiting, mostly for IT leaders. So CIOs, CTOs,
Yeah.
VPs, that kind of thing. So we specialize only in technology. There's not a lot of executive recruiting. I have a long background in understanding and being a part of technology, and so does my team. So it has been my dream for 3 years to open this business, and we did it last year. And
amazing.
So it's like I wondered, because we're doing it right, like we're doing it the idealistic way you would do retained search, like where you jump in and do the discovery process, like ad nauseum, right? We pick apart the candidate, we pick apart the client, we repackage pimply bad news into good challenging stuff, right? And at the end we do this coaching thing for the first 90 days. And I thought, no, is anybody going to want this? Really? I mean, is it?
Am I actually
you're so
feeling the
used to
need?
hiring people so transactionally when you go to a firm, and it turns out they do. So it's like
I love that.
It's really great. Yeah. So, but I'm super connected, and I like to connect people. So maybe there's a connection out there that I can make for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
or maybe there's a listener here today.
No, we lost him.
They're like, no, too much self-promotion.
Yeah, no,
Too shameless.
I didn't know we were going to go through. I loved it though.
I don't think have I ever talked about it?
I don't think so.
Sure.
Not really.
Yeah.
But what I think is sort of funny, I find humor in anyway, is that she's kind of a total badass in that part of the business world, and then somehow or other, she said yes to doing this show with me, who she hadn't known, and she's like, "Holy crap! This is like the lighter side of media, right? Where you get to play around a little bit.
It is.
Have fun.
It is. It allows me to express freedom in conversation.
Yeah.
Not worry so much about what I think and do every moment, and
Because
how it
everyone's
has-
all caught up in like putting on the show of like, okay, I have to be the perfect person in all instances. And it's like, no, actually you can be a badass in the retained executive search world and have some fun on a show.
Yeah.
Like you can do that.
Exactly. It's a good balance. It's being true to true to myself for sure.
Yeah.
Good.
It's just other people have said things to me like, so you have this podcast and now we have a podcast and content production company, and they're like, so are you still doing this other thing? I'm like, well, no, that's my main thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like Avid Edge is the main thing, right? And this is a
just happen to
wonderful
have
side
this
gig. Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful, awesome, also thing.
Yeah. Also,
Well, I mean, that's
an entrepreneur, right?
I mean, that's my thing. Is like at any given moment, I probably have a different YouTube show going on. So that I've also done.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna have to pick
We'll
and
get
choose
into
what
that.
we do.
I didn't
after
even
the
tell
break.
you guys about when I was a horse wrangler.
Oh my God! Where?
In Wyoming?
In Wyoming, yeah, in Yellowstone.
Oh my God!
No, well, on
I
that
don't
note,
typically mention that. All right, is it time for the break? Here, say,
we can
say the
take-
words for the break.
break.
Yeah, we have a little thing that we do on the break, but
Do we?
I don't remember what we say. We are taking a break.
Yeah, we make up a new song each time.
Okay.
I know. I think
But I'm
we just-
excited to dive in because the
Okay.
second
Just take a
half
break.
means that we've gotten to know you, we've had our appetizers, we had
Yeah.
a little sip of wine, you of sugar, and
Sugar's
then
really
we
important.
kind of can relax, right?
know.
Because now I know you and you know me, and nobody knows Sam because he could be.
Who are you, Sam?
I've
anybody.
not ever wrangled horses that I recall. No.
Why not?
I'm definitely afraid of horses.
Are you really?
Yeah. Because of obviously a childhood thing, right? Like,
Oh, I'm sorry.
you know, everyone says they're just like big dogs. I'm like, yeah, big
No,
dogs
they're
that
not
can
like big
kill you in
Yeah.
a second, right? But I was at my cousin's house, and they had a horse, and we were gonna go ride the horse, and the horses had this little path they would go around the farm, up in the hill and the back down, and they put me on a horse, and they said this horse will just go the path, so you don't have to like steer the horse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great.
I've done
and
that
So
before.
they gave the horse a little.
Uh-oh.
Right? The horse
Off it
took
goes.
off. Yep, horse took off, and I'm like hanging on, and they yell, "Whatever you do, don't get off the horse. There's rattlesnakes up in the hills."
Oh
Suddenly, I was like gripping onto this poor horse. My fear fueled their fear.
Yeah.
And we literally, my hands were like in that grippy anyway.
For months after.
For months after that.
And that's actually like the worst thing too is like if you are scared, the horse is going to be like, why are they scared? They must know something.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like they're
that was
so sensitive to that.
the really, really Jamino thing that was going on in my head. I know that the horse knows I'm scared, and that's why the horse is scared, but I can't stop being scared, which made me more scared, to make the horse more scared. And then it was just,
I do have a 5-second horse anecdote, and then we're gonna get back to the fun stuff. But the 5-second horse anecdote was I was a horse wrangler. It was just for 2 weeks. It's a very long story. My parents got divorced. I was avoiding my mother. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so I got this job at a ranch called Togedy Ranch, right on the border of Yellowstone, and I was just going to help them out for 2 weeks. Somebody had quit early or something like that, and I was a horseback riding instructor at my summer camp, actually here in Minnesota, which was YMCA Camp Warren.
I can't even say a word. I can't say anything.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Second half. Steven,
second
the
half.
second half.
I know what he's going to do.
Maybe she'll let me. Okay, yeah,
gosh.
Camp Warren. I know.
You know Camp Warren?
He's a
John
camp
Crabb, Captain John Crabb. He took the
sounds
sailing
familiar.
trips. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, this is funny. So I get this job as the horse wrangler, but they don't have any maps, and they didn't have time to like train me because I was only there for 2 weeks. And like what they had done before, like at the beginning of the summer, was they would just do all the trails together like multiple times.
Sure,
And
everyone was familiar with the trails.
Yeah, so they took me on the trails like twice. And then they were like, okay, well, if you ever, like what you're gonna do is just like take everybody out there on these trail rides, get to a spot where you wanna turn around, like subtly like turn the horses around and then just stop steering and the horse will take you home.
Oh, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which
it
is
did-
exactly what you said. And they
Yeah.
did every time. So it was great. So I would literally, like ride everybody out every there. And then we would come, turn around to come back. And I would stop steering and I would just say, oh, where are you guys from? Tell me more.
Oh my God.
Just hosting a show from a horse.
So yeah, the
Been doing
next
this
time.
forever.
So the next time you go on a trail ride.
It'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
Carolyn can break you of your fear of horses. All right, should we do a break?
Definitely think I need more wine. I mean, we should take a break.
And we're off for the break.
Woo! All right, are we ready for the second half?
Yeah, but we
Are
need
you
to.
ready?
All
Get
right.
some
Are we gonna do the
ready?
clap?
Yeah, you do the clap.
Okay, here we go.
Good one. I like it.
That's a good
I
clap.
got it. Listen,
All right.
I'm nothing if not prepared.
you.
I prepared for this. I was told do nothing.
You just prepared in the last 30 minutes
You
for this.
prepared
And you
in
were
the
ready.
way that you were told to prepare, yes. which was
Exactly.
nothing.
I'm very good at following
So,
directions.
given the list of things that we were left with,
yes.
Oh, we're in.
we should jump in. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
half.
should we dive into first, Mr. Devine?
Well, I mean, I feel like you're teeing it up for me. I could
I'm
ask
giving
you.
it to you.
You're
I am giving you a gift.
You're giving me the gift?
A campy gift.
She's
So-
gifting you.
You know, so
It's
I
a
get,
campy gift.
It is a campy gift. I've been made fun of my entire adult life
Yeah.
about camp. Because I attended a camp when I was 6 and 7 years old,
Gotcha.
similar to Camp Warren. It was called
Yeah.
Camp Chippewa.
I've heard of it. Yes.
Yep. And my folks couldn't afford to continue to send us there. My dad got a job there,
Yeah.
right? We were Minnesotans. And but then when I was 21, I went back to work at this camp, and I worked there for 20 years almost. Okay. And so I mention it a lot, and it drives her crazy sometimes.
So I said camp, and that's why we had.
and
a
I
big
was like,
reaction.
oh God, I can't say anything.
We're just going to let him get the camp out of him.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay?
well-
So talk to her about the camp.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll say there's a couple of different things about it.
Okay.
Despite, on top of my feelings that these places are really fantastic for kids and people
Yeah.
should really look into them, and especially the 2 and 4 and 8 week camps, it gives
Yeah.
them a lot during the summer to do. But also, I mention it because I continually run into people who had a camp experience.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a kinship that happens immediately when you find out someone else is a camp person.
Yeah.
And there tend to be a lot of there's something about that system that breeds some sort of entrepreneurial thinking too. So, you know, I know more people from my camp days who are risk takers in certain ways, willing to go out and do things. A lot of them, you know, high-powered professionals as well too. But yeah, so I like talking about camp.
Yeah, no, I found very similar things when it comes to camp people and entrepreneurship or just creativity in general. It's it's really interesting, and I think there's some form of independence that you really learn from and grow. My husband and I a lot of my family, not my parents, but a lot of my family work in education. And so my husband and I, for fun, like to talk about education a lot because we're nerds.
Right.
And one of the things that he talks about is there's all sorts of studies about how the length of summer break that we have is really bad for kids when it comes to retaining knowledge into the next year. And he's like, oh, well, we could like have summer break be way shorter. And I have an extremely emotional, allergic reaction to anyone ever trying to shrink summer.
Me too.
It makes me so angry.
Yeah.
And I think so much of that was I always felt like I learned more and better while in a camp setting than in like our education system.
Yeah, I mean that's camps are a empathy building sort of emotional intelligence building kind of place.
Yeah.
So academic settings are great and can teach you things, and you get to socialize and stuff too. But yes, it's a different skill set that you learn in these places.
And I should say that, like, again, relatives who are educators, love talking about and thinking about education and how education can be and how it is and whatnot. But at the same time, there is just something in me that is still like, I want to go back to camp again.
Camp
Well,
people.
you know what I love about camp? No, in my defense, I have gone to camp. I went to the YMCA every summer, right? I hated it. But that doesn't mean that I'm not, like, I enjoy the outdoors. I love, we always had a rule in our house, you have to be able to make a fire, right? But one of the things about...
Do you have a family of arsons? I'm just curious, like, what kind of fires are we building?
And also, are you building fires with like a match or building fires like...
Okay.
Or are you a lighter family?
Even on Alone and Naked, they have a flint, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
I just liked it. We had a rule. You had to be able to burn shit down. I mean, start a fire. Sorry.
Right.
And not get caught.
But the idea, I think, especially nowadays, right, when there is not a lot of tinkering going on. There's a lot of people playing games or, doing a lot of electronic experience, and that mind tinkering sort of thing, that freedom to think, that white space to think, I think helps create the confidence to be an entrepreneur, right? And it's like, I never had that experience at the camp that both of you had. I did not have that experience. My daughter did, right? She was at conserve school up in Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin.
Lovely.
Very cool.
So she did a semester there, and every single class was held outside.
Yeah.
Every single class. You learned English out in the woods. You learned science out in the woods. You learned, and so that kind of thing of discovering.
That's why she's so cool.
And then there's this other thing about the apocalypse and how you would be the people I'd want to be with.
Yeah.
Right? And because you could.
Aww. It's personality.
Listen,
more than anything
I
else,
would
right?
love to
No,
spend the
it's
apocalypse.
like the survival skills.
Like just the two of us?
No.
What about ours?
No.
I think she meant camp people in general.
Yeah.
I think we took that the wrong way.
You don't want to spend the apocalypse with
I'm not saying that.
I think, I mean,
Think of all the
saying-
podcast episodes we could make.
oh my God, we could have so much fun. I'd find wild grapes and I'd make you wine.
You
Okay,
could build
all right.
a fire.
You're starting to win me over.
I could really do well in arts and crafts and like get the horses ready.
I'd like to bring some of my other
We have horses on
family
this
members.
apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you gotta have some.
Isn't it more
Beasts
like
of
Mad
burden.
Max?
Well,
yeah, well,
Right?
there's not
like
gonna be
steel
any
fuel.
There's not going to be fuel, so we need the horses.
Well,
Yeah.
don't you think we'll have a different form of fuel, like solar
Yeah,
cars?
dead
No,
bodies.
it's the apocalypse.
It's the apocalypse. We'll be burning
it's
corpses.
the four riders, right? We are the 4 riders of the apocalypse.
Wait a minute, there's only 3 of us.
Oh no! Wait, it's the camera.
Oh,
Camera
it's you.
is death.
It's you people.
It's our guests, or our
Our
listeners.
listeners.
Oh
Okay,
boy.
all right.
You
Well,
are the rider of death. That's great.
No, I appreciate that.
I can so see it. I can see it because there's not a lot of people who have that white space and can deal with white space. And I think that was part of what summer was about for me. It was like my mom was like, go away, and go figure out what you're going to do because I don't want you back in this house until lunch. And
Sun's
most likely
coming.
I'll just set lunch on the front step, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, you eat
And then
your
you come
bologna
back when the
sandwich.
street lights come on or
Yeah.
whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, right?
Oh
And-
yeah, right. So you guys would have been the like out all day.
Oh, yeah. There was no fear of abduction
100%.
or anything like that.
I would say
I was like one of the last of those.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was,
Yeah, the millennials are like
we
the
just rode our
tail
bikes
end of it.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I would say that actually does, it makes an argument for, I think that camps were probably in certain ways less important 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago when kids had more of that free space to do whatever. Like there wasn't a huge difference between a summer spent at camp or a summer spent playing with your friends in the neighborhood because none of your parents let you come in
it's
the
a
house.
massive
You didn't have to be
difference
with your
now.
parents,
No.
right? You didn't have to be with your brothers and sisters. You could just be at camp
Yeah.
with some friends or new friends or whatever that is. And things were slightly more structured, right? Like you can go canoeing or you can go for a hike
Yes.
or you can learn how to eat off the woods floor,
You can.
make leek soup.
I mean, I typically went to the cafeteria, but you do you.
Yeah.
Well, we had a day in my camp where we had to
Eat off the ground,
eat
Dave?
out of the woods.
Yeah.
Oh, eat from what you foraged or something.
Yeah.
I suppose we were looking for rhubarb at one point.
Wild rhubarb, I'm sure it's great.
I don't remember the rhubarb part, but I do remember making a pancake
Yeah.
out of something.
See,
Did
so
you ever
do have
mail
some
a
memories.
pancake?
I don't know what I made the pancake out of, but
Mail
I
it?
felt
Yeah, did you mail it?
No.
With the U.S. Postal Service.
No.
No.
That's a fun thing to do. You should try it.
But here's the thing: I think someone should have a camp for me now.
Well,
You know, there are adult
There
summer
are.
camps, but they're mostly just like binge drinking fests.
Yes, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that
No.
either.
Yeah,
I just want to go to camp. Yeah.
I mean, I can see. So I have, as an adult, done things like I did go hike the mountain to Machu Picchu, right? So it's like I've done some of that stuff. That's the kind of camp I'm talking
all
about.
right.
Like
so you
someone
think you're better
should-
than me? Yeah.
But you know what, though? Someone did carry all my bags.
You
And
think
they
you're
set
better
up
than
my
me?
tent and they fed me food.
I don't know if that counts
And
as
they gave me,
camping.
so that was the kind of camp I want.
That's the camp I want. But that's
So
not
when
the
are the
camp
cleaners
I
coming?
got.
This is our ongoing joke in the office. Like,
I think the maid is grabbing us some more marshmallows. They'll be here any moment now.
exactly what I said. The first day, I'm like, oh, the garbage seems full. When did the cleaners come? And he's like, the cleaners? Like,
This is our office.
this is our office. I've been cleaning.
All right, isn't this an entrepreneurship show?
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
We've lost our way again.
Okay, but it was
Thank
camp.
goodness I
No, it was
I'm
good.
blaming
It
it
was
on camp.
I liked it. It
We
is
love
a-
camp.
Yeah, a glimpse into what you presume camp to be or need it to be at a camp and kind of what we think of it.
You know, we can each have our own. Oh, we?
we
Yeah. How do you know your case is the same?
Because Warren. I mean, it would have been a pretty similar
It would have
experience.
been very similar.
Just out of curiosity, and we can get off camps, but how long were you there?
I was, so I had a similar thing where I went to a camp that became too expensive and then switched.
Yep.
So I went to Camp Lake Hubert
Yeah, no, Lincoln Lake Hubert. Yep.
for 6 years.
Okay.
And
you were at
then-
Lake Hubert for 6 years?
Yeah, for a while. And then I skipped a few years. And then I was like, I want to go back to camp. And my mom said, "There's no way we're sending you to Lake Hubert.
It's
The
pretty
pricing
pricey.
has just gotten absurd."
Yeah.
I think the difference between
Thanks,
when I
Mom.
started, I think the difference from when I started to when I
You should really
left
lock
was,
in
like,
that price when you start 6 years. You've
Yeah,
been there for 6 years.
it was really it was pretty ridiculous.
The private camps are pretty expensive.
They're pretty ridiculous. And so, but my cousins all went to Camp Warren.
Yep.
So they said, why don't you come to Camp Warren? So I was a CIT and a counselor for 2 or 3 years. So it's like 3-4 years, something
great.
like that. It was a good time.
Did you get a lot of meaning out of the counselor years?
Yeah.
It's different.
It's very different
than the camper experience.
And it was also funny because I didn't grow up at that camp, I had trouble making friends with the other counselors. And I'm not quite
cliquey?
sure.
Really?
It was a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it was more that they were like, who's this rando from Connecticut? I think I was just such a fish out of water. But I was always really good with kids. And so the campers were we had a blast.
Right.
So they named me Snoopy, which happens.
Yep. You get a lot of camps do nicknames. Ours
Yeah.
didn't, thankfully. I don't do.
Our camp did not do nicknames.
But you got one.
But funnily enough, the kids demanded to know whether I was Carolyn or Caroline, and so we had a vote, and they decided on Snoopy.
As kids will do. Bodie McBoatface. Just ask the Brits.
Goaty McGoatface.
Oh, Bodie McBoatface.
Oh.
The Brits famously asked the public to name a boat. And that's what they came back with. And they're like, oh, God, we have to name this boat Bodie McBoatface.
So
Don't know that story,
that
but
was-
I love it.
But it is funny because all the campers are here in Minnesota, and I wasn't here for a very long time. And every once in a while, I'll go out in public somewhere, and somebody will yell, "Snoopy!"
Oh, see, camp people.
And it's all my campers, and now they're adults, and I'm like, this is concerning. I don't.
I know a lot of former
Okay,
former
so I
kids
think we
turned
should move
adults.
on from
We
the
probably
camp.
should move on from. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, we should move into.
I
Yes.
do.
All right.
I want to hear about her entrepreneurial endeavor.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me do the slightly more detailed journey for you. Not too long, I promise. But,
Yeah.
But I was. Well, how far? Now I'm confused. I can talk about. I mean, the reality is my entire career has been a weird entrepreneurial journey with in
It sounds
between,
like it.
with in betweens of employment.
I love that.
How did you do?
You're-
Just out of curiosity, how did you do as an employee? Are you okay at that? Or
I'm a good employee.
Are ya?
I wasn't always a good employee. I don't think I did particularly well at McCann. I did well enough. And looking back now, I'm like, oh, I know exactly how to do that job. I'd be phenomenal at that. But at the time, I was pretty much struggling with it. But I was frustrated. I was a junior producer, which was, organizing, scheduling, budgeting, negotiating and things like that. And I wanted to be on the creative side. And so I was just a little bit angry with my job, but it was the only job that I could get. So, I took it. But when my first feature film screenplay, it was a quarterfinalist in the Austin Film Festival screenplay competition. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a comedian. Here we go.
I love that. What made you decide to be a comedian? What was it? So people are like, people think I'm funny? Or were you like, I understand the timing of this thing?
Well, my dad and my grandpa were both very, very funny. Absolutely hilarious, great storytellers. So I was always surrounded by storytellers, and I was always making things. I got my first little toy video camera as a 9-year-old. So I've been filmmaking
right.
for way too long. It's upsetting about how long it has been. And so my mom used to say that there was a video that I made of my Madeline dolls in a dollhouse where every few minutes there was an earthquake. She was like, "This feels like SNL." I'm like, "What's SNL?" So I started watching SNL fairly young, and was always like, "Oh, comedy's pretty cool," but I didn't really take it very seriously as a career, mostly because when I was 4, I decided I wanted to be a Disney animator, and so I sent in a job application.
When you were 4?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
feel like I feel like the minute I get like I'm tracking.
Like we're tracking.
I'm following. I'm following. And then it's like, wait a minute, I'm 4. And I got this whole other
I need
thing.
more wine for
This is called
You are,
ADHD.
yeah, you
and
are all over the place, and I like it. I like it.
It's really hard because people are like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like,
I mean, I suspect this could go on, and I mean,
this could go on for a while.
Yeah,
I have
and
a severe difficulty in interviews.
I love this.
I don't know that it's a difficulty. I mean,
have
here
to
you are,
like pick like 3 stories and be like, these are the stories I'm going to tell. And then they ask something else, and I add like 2 more, and I'm like, okay, I hope I
Right.
can cram this in to like a 30
I mean,
minute
we
phone
haven't run
screening.
into
Your
it.
dad and your grandpa must be very proud of you
Yeah.
because you are funny.
So I grew up under the assumption. So I sent a letter asking for a job. I included a resume and a cover letter. My GPA was star superstar. You know, I've been a star since the very beginning.
At 4.
At 4.
Yeah.
My dad helped me with that quite a bit, and we sent it to Disney. I didn't hear back for a little bit, and then eventually we got a card in the mail, and it was a card with Goofy on it. And in the card, it was from somebody from the animation department at Disney, and they said, we were so impressed with your application and your GPA of star superstar in particular. What was very impressive, and they're like, however, we only accept animators who have attended college, so we're really looking forward for you to apply again once you've graduated from college.
And so you were like,
Chat with you
okay,
soon. So I just grew
I have a
up-
direction in life.
I just grew up under the assumption that I was going to be an animator at Disney.
And that you already had the job.
Yeah.
They were waiting. Disney was like, fucking that gal should be here.
When is she
I don't know.
here?
Ever gonna graduate?
I couldn't tell from the way it was spelled on the thing if it was Carolyn or Caroline, but she should be here.
Showing
She
up.
should be on her way.
So I was just like,
gave her
yeah,
the
I'm
offer.
Office is like dusty.
So
Yeah.
So I was
Caroline's
like, obviously, I'm gonna go work in Hollywood. I'm gonna go be a Disney animator, and then I was like, and then I'll be a director, and then I'll retire and become a novelist and get a horse and a dog and live in the
Holy
woods and never
shit.
talk to anyone. I had this whole plan.
From like 4 years old?
Yeah.
I was going to be a fry cook at McDonald's, but I thought that'd be fun. Anyway.
So sad that didn't work out for you. Anyways, but it was funny because whenever people would be like, well, what else are you gonna do? And I'm like, well, if that doesn't work out, I'll just be a filmmaker. Like,
Like that would be easy.
yeah, or
I
I was
could
like,
just do
or I'll be
that.
a comedian. Like, I would just like list other creative endeavors. Like, oh, I'll just do that. And so when I got to college, I was dead set on being a filmmaker, and I was like, I'm gonna be a serious director. I'm gonna be a, real big deal, like super drama.
Exactly.
And then I realized it made me really depressed, and that I kept putting in like a crap ton of jokes in all of my scripts, and I was like, what if I was just funny instead?
Which
Like I tried to be.
maybe a little more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Right?
And I started taking improv classes when I got to New York, and it was just like that. It was just like
They were like, we saw your resume from Disney.
Yes.
And we thought,
And?
and we think that you'd be better off doing this. You're in.
I can't tell you how many times I've applied for jobs at Disney and never gotten a reply. And I'm like, but you told me.
Did you send a photo of
Yeah.
the
I don't
of
have
the
it
promissory
anymore.
note?
How do you
I
not keep the
know.
thing from Disney?
We moved a million times.
I
and
know,
things
but
get
like that's one that
lost.
needs to be.
And also, I
somewhere.
wasn't in charge. We have to blame my parents for this.
I blame your parents.
No, to be fair, that's what I meant. Like I don't expect your 4-year-old self to be like,
This is a keepsake.
I got it every night.
keep this. I look at it every night. No, so
maybe
I have a feeling, though, you as a child created many things like this.
oh yeah.
And it would have been hard as a parent to know which one has touched you the most.
Yeah, and I was a pretty prolific like art kid. So there were boxes and boxes and boxes of just like art. And
this is coming from 2 parents because I see my 7-year-old now and I'm like,
throwing
okay,
that
which one of
damn
the
thing away. I'm
which
throwing
one
it
of the
away.
7 trillion things that she wants to do I hold on to? It's true. You're
Oh my
right.
God.
Yeah, then I say to my daughter who's 26, I'm like, I have kept this the whole time. And she's like, why? And I'm like,
I was
Because you told me when you were 7, you told
you
me,
then keep it forever.
Mommy, don't ever throw that out.
Don't ever throw
I
this
was
out.
I was almost an art major in college. It's a long. I ended up not getting the major. I was like 2 or 3 classes short because I got in a fight with the new media art professor, and then he got fired, so it's fine. And so
For fighting with you?
Did you like a fist fight?
No, it was I was accused of not doing my homework. And I said, this is ludicrous. We should never be doing video animation on Photoshop. Like my system crashed 7 times. I did the homework 7 times.
That's why she didn't
And
get
it was
the job
it was
at
a
Disney.
whole
She
that must
refused-
have been it.
She refused to do her video editing on Photoshop.
Word got back.
I was like, we should be using Flash animation software, but I don't know how to use it. You refused to teach us. It was a whole thing.
And of course, that's exactly what the next iteration was.
Yeah.
Flash.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember having an
gosh.
argument.
The old days.
I taught back in the day.
Back in
I taught technology at the University of Wisconsin Stout. Go Blue Devils. I never ever went to a sporting event when I was under sports. We were Division III, and it was like more of a party than anything.
I know.
Anyway, so
Yeah, who would want to go to that?
and who would want to go to that? Exactly.
I was going to play on St. Olaf's hockey team, and then I was like, nah.
They tried to invite me.
I think that's a joke.
Yeah, I think.
I played hockey growing
I was
up.
wondering if it was a joke or not a joke.
No, it was not a
It's
joke.
a joke. It's a.
But it was a not joke.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
like, this is a
There
true
was a
fact.
kernel of truth in that
Well,
joke.
but so I was right to be a little confused as to
Yes.
whether or not it was a joke.
I know.
Because it was a not joke.
It
joke.
wasn't a direct joke.
Yeah.
If you knew me, it would have been funny, but you didn't.
No,
and we
I
didn't
just met you.
prepare. Yeah.
Well, I would have had to dig way deep in the archives.
Listen-
Looks like she played hockey in high school.
We should have gotten her resume before.
Yeah. If you came
I think
in.
it is on my. I think it is on my LinkedIn. If you click on my high school, I think it does say that I was on the
Really?
varsity hockey team.
Really?
For 4 years. Yeah.
Funny.
You have your high school on LinkedIn. That's the cutest thing I ever heard.
Mine wouldn't let me. They're like, you don't say you came from here.
Yeah. Mine would probably feel the same way. Maybe I should do it. Gil Marie High School. Go Pioneers. Pioneers. I think I should put it on there. I don't know how proud they are that I was a student
Don't get
there.
me started on the Wildcats, man. It's just out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pioneers were vicious hockey players.
Entrepreneurship.
Vicious.
What about this idea? What about this idea?
Oh,
Okay, we got to come back to the idea.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're shaking it up. We are so deep into your life, which is funny because
we really don't know anything.
I mean
we haven't gotten into any of
have
my
had-
startup career at all.
we have had such fantastic guests, and no one really knows what to expect. And it is, what about this idea?
Yeah.
Which is, like whatever that says, I don't know exactly, except we're going to talk about ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
But unlike most of the shows about entrepreneurship, we
Yes.
don't have a set, we don't stick to, well, then you did this, and then I see you went and did that, and then you like that. I get so bored with those anyway. So it is great to get to know you. I think in the interest of making less than a 5-hour-long show, I'm just checking to see where we're
Let's
at.
just get to the ideas.
We
I hear
should-
what you're saying.
We can
get to the ideas.
Okay.
Can we just sum it up on the career side by saying that you have dabbled in other people's entrepreneurial adventures, your own entrepreneurial
Yeah,
adventures?
let me wrap that up. I can wrap that up in a minute, and then
I doubt it, but I'm waiting.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Honestly,
I'm
it just
kidding.
it depends.
I'm
It depends
kidding.
on
You
how
do it.
many times you want to interrupt.
I know.
But-
It's true. It's true. Shabang! She got me. That was the right response.
Listen, you brought
All right.
the comedian on the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
You were being heckled, and she got me. All right, do it. 1 minute.
Okay, so I was a very sad comedian who was not making any money in New York City. I had been, and I tragically, even worse, turned 26, which, as you all know, is a death sentence for all creatives who suddenly need to get health insurance. So I was in desperate need of.
That wasn't a thing when
Yeah,
we were
that was
young.
a thing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I tragically turned 26 and was on a quest to find health insurance. I was working a retail job, J. Crew, over by Grand Central. And I applied for, we could talk about job hunting all day. If you have another thing about job hunting, oh my God. I probably applied for thousands of jobs over like 2 years, something like that.
Oh, she'll help you after the show.
No
She'll fix that
No
for you.
interviews, nothing. Just like throwing things into the void. And I got pretty desperate. And so I did what any comedian would do. And I decided to just, get a job in venture capital. That makes sense. So,
Like creative.
So I, what I did was to get to there, I, whenever I was in a public space, and there was a moment where like there was dead air, I would be like, "Excuse me, sorry, I have a very quick announcement. If you don't mind, it's very quick. Just so you are aware, we live in New York City. It is very expensive. All of you are here, presumably have good employment. I am in need of employment. Could somebody, if any of you need to hire anyone for any reason, I will do whatever. I do not care."
Said this in your show.
In shows,
No.
in rehearsals, on the subway,
Yeah, like in public, it
in
sounds
public, just whenever it was near humans, because nothing is working online, so.
Oh my God.
So I just started, trying to figure out how to advertise myself. And one of my friends, Rose, was like, "I'm gonna get you a job. I'm gonna get you a job. I'm gonna get you a job." And it took months, and I was like, this is never gonna happen. And I'm just like trying to get something. And one day she calls me. She's like, "Can you interview tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Of course I can.
What do you do? What is your company? What is happening? So it's kind of like this. So I go in and I go for my interview at this venture capital firm diagonally across the street from Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. And I go to meet with their chief of staff, Jen, who I adore. And Rose is like, "Okay, you're gonna meet with her. Like, she knows you're a comedian, blah, 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 blah. Like, and I told her that you're amazing. It's gonna be great." And I'm like, "Great." And so I go in there, and Jen goes, "Oh, I hear you're a comedian. You need a day job." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I turned 26." She's like, "Yes, the health insurance." I'm like, "Right."
See, we didn't get health insurance after 18 or something when we were
No.
when we were young. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we so we're.
I don't know, but I don't know the minutes, but I know it's not
but,
1 minute.
But this seemed appropriate.
No, it's all good. It's
good.
all good. It's all good.
So I'm in there, and I had spent the entire night before studying everything about venture capital, and I had always been like a Steve Jobs nerd. Like I loved Apple, I loved social media. I was very, very early on YouTube. I mean, I had a camera at 9, right? So I was very much super enthusiastic about everything tech.
Yeah. No,
No,
we're in.
YouTube
We're
wasn't
in.
until high school. It's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's good. We're in. I'm just making sure we don't lose Juliet at some point. We gotta keep her fueled up.
Listen, I got my sugar.
Well, we gotta get
like
her
a child,
sugar too.
like the child in the room. It's fine.
This is
so,
good.
So I go in there and I had studied as much as I could about finance, like prepared to just answer questions about finance. I was ready to go. And she says, "Oh, so you need a job?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What have you done before?" And I'm like, "Oh, I worked in advertising. I've done this and this. And I really, really want to work here, blah, blah, blah." And she goes, "Oh, okay, great. This is why you should work here." She spent the next 45 minutes talking to me about why I should work there.
Yeah.
I had spent less than 5 minutes talking about myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're going to hire me? Someone's going to hire me?" I was like dumbfounded. I didn't know what to do. So
What did she hire you for?
I was at the front desk. So
Okay.
yeah, so that was the start.
That's good.
And then she goes, "Okay."
That's a way to
now-
get in, you know.
And so she said, "Okay, well, how about you come and meet the CEO?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna meet the CEO." And she's like, "Yeah, here we go." And I'm like, "Okay, like this is it. I need to prove that I learned everything about finance and venture capital. Like this is it. Like this is what I studied for."
So can you answer a phone?
Well, part of what I was trying to do is I was trying to be like, "Listen, I could do more than just be at the front
Of
desk."
course,
So
of
I was
course.
trying to show like I have potential. So I go in there, and it's the CEO Michael, and Michael goes, "Oh, so Carolyn, I hear you're a comedian." I go, "Oh yeah," and he goes, "Can you tell me a joke?"
Oh God, I mean, you must get that though.
What did you tell him a joke?
I floundered. I totally bombed.
You can't put someone on the spot like
as
that.
as I was walking away, I heard them say, "Oh, good thing she's getting a job, huh?"
Love that.
You can't do that to a comedian.
No.
Eventually, we had a great rapport, and he decided I was the funniest one in the office. It was a good time.
There you go.
But yeah, so while I was there, I mean, I scaled into a wide variety of jobs. I worked at the front desk. I worked with a chief of staff. I was doing a lot of research on startups. I wasn't necessarily like seeking them out. I was mostly like doing what do they call it? You know.
I don't know. What do they call it?
They call it confirming that what they actually do is legit.
Due diligence.
Due diligence. I
God,
was
look at
doing
me.
due diligence. And then we also had a co-working space with all of these different startups. And we also had something called shared services. So we had entire teams of marketers and engineers and business people and whoever who were all accountants who were all there to help the startups succeed. So I ended up working on a variety of projects for like 20 plus startups in the office.
That's why you've been connected with the Twin Cities Startup Week stuff, and it'd be
Yeah, well, that was New York, but yeah.
no, but I mean that's because you've had that experience, in that
yeah.
realm. Okay.
So I was there, had an absolute ball. I was there for 2.5 years, and then my husband wanted to go to grad school to pivot to a new career, and he got accepted to the University of Minnesota. So we decided we were going to Minnesota. We went to Twin Cities Startup Week.
There you go.
We were part of the fly-in program, so we were actually success stories of the fly-in program. Even though we were already planning on moving here, it's fine. And
I don't know what that is.
it
but
doesn't,
okay.
it doesn't exist anymore, but it was
I'm like,
it was an initiative
Yes.
with the Twin Cities Startup Week in the state of Minnesota to try to get people who worked in tech from the coasts to
Yes.
come and move to Minnesota.
Coasties.
oh, yeah, because that's where most of the action is a lot of the time. Now, that's not to say that Minnesota doesn't have a good
Yeah.
scene these days, but yes, there is a different world out on the coast.
And so I ended up leaving Loeb. I decided to take a few months off before moving. And I was interviewing, I was flying back and forth, trying to figure out like what my next job was gonna be. And then in March of that year, I had 5 final round interviews lined up. And I was like, this is it. Like, I've never had this many interviews at once.
I'm gonna get an actual job.
I'm gonna get a job. This is gonna be great. I'm so excited. And then this crazy thing happened. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called the global pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, COVID derailed a lot of things for a lot of people.
And so suddenly, all of these 5 jobs that I was interviewing for vanished, like within 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was
Doesn't
it was the
exist
Friday that New York City shut down, and we were in the suburbs at that point. We weren't still in the city, and I was like, "Fuck! I just took months off.
Yeah.
Yep.
The world is
Well,
ending."
more than months.
Yeah, the world is ending. Like, what on earth am I gonna do? And within that like same hour of me realizing that we were screwed, one of the CEOs from Loeb, who was working on a little grocery delivery app called Mercado, posted on LinkedIn and said,
Mercado.
and said, "Help!
One minute later, Mercado. We made it.
Remember how I said we should talk about Mercado? Remember that?
I'm just teasing.
So."
All right.
Bobby Brannigan posts on LinkedIn, "Help! We've grown 200% in 2 days. Who wants a job?"
Right.
And so I sent him a note, and I said, "Does it matter if I'm moving to Minnesota?" He calls me 5 minutes later, and he goes, "Carolyn, you're hired." And I said,
For what?
And I said, "Amazing. What's my job going to be?" And he said, "We don't know yet.
But you got a job.
See you on Monday."
All right.
I show up on Monday.
Were they able to pay you?
Yes.
So you had to show up, like physically?
No.
Well,
See you on Zoom on Monday.
Yeah, like-
More
Yeah,
like
right,
it.
right.
she's running down the highway with her mask on, like, I'll get there, I promise.
They were also in San Diego in that point. So
A
yeah.
little too far
Anyways,
to run. Yeah.
So a bit of a long jog. But
Okay.
so my first day, they changed my job 5 times because I knew everyone on the team because they'd all been in the office together in New York before they had gone to San Diego. And so the marketing team was like, "Come over here," and the sales team was like, "Come over here," and the operations, "Oh, come, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Carolyn
that's
can I do
chaos.
whatever."
That's chaos.
And then finally they're like, "Wait a second, we're getting 1,000 phone calls an hour and there's only 5 people on the phones. Put Carolyn on the phones." So I was person number 6 on the phones. They trained me for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And,
if I was calling in at that time, would it have been like, you've reached person number 6? And then, is that what you mean?
No,
No,
that's an internal. That's an internal title.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. Just
Yeah.
just clarifying.
Yeah.
No, so no, I would
That was
say
dumb. I'm a dad, for Christ's sake.
no.
Like,
I
I
will-
would-
okay.
Christ,
It's
no,
fine.
Christ's
I would
sake.
say I would say Mercado. This is Carolyn. How can I help you? Very professional.
Yeah.
And so 2 weeks later, we hired 6 more people to join us on the phones, and our bosses were all too busy to train them, so I trained them. We ended up scaling 10,000% year over year in 3 months.
Oh my goodness.
And that's why I failed.
Our
Too big. Well,
it technically did not fail.
okay.
But it's not going to go where they want it to go. Sorry, Bobby.
It's going to go somewhere else.
Love you, Bobby. But it was absolutely bananas. So Bobby said that if we had grown any faster, or if we had maintained that pace for any longer, we would have been considered one of the fastest growing startups of all time. We were number 2 at that time. Now OpenAI has, of course, kicked us down the street.
Sure.
I don't even think we're top 10 anymore with all these AI startups and whatnot. But it was absolutely bananas because they were a team of 20 people, and they were their growth rate was that much higher than everybody else. We were the fastest growing grocery delivery app
That would have
in
been
the country.
a period of
Crazy.
time in America where with the pandemic that would have, of course, been explosive.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Now we got to do an
in our
idea.
remaining
A big
negative,
idea.
in our remaining negative 32 minutes.
God, seriously?
You can cut a lot. We can cut the horse story.
We don't cut nothing.
That
It's
might
cute.
be that
It's
might
cute.
not
You
be a good
said
strategy.
you said 1 minute.
I know. It's
And-
my fault.
I tried very much not to interrupt. I really did.
I know.
And then 1 minute.
But it was
and
good.
It was fine. This is what we
Oh,
do.
it was fine?
No, it was good. It was
It
good.
was
It was good.
He did.
I know.
He's saying,
My husband says things are
It's
fine.
bad
I put on an outfit,
communication.
and he's like, "Oh, that's fine." And
No,
I'm like,
I'm a bad
"I have to
communicator.
change." Obviously,
What I
we
mean
can't.
is, it's our show.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the way I feel. If a person is watching this show, if they're not into this, click, turn it off.
I
It's
know.
okay.
But this is the meat, this is
if
the
you're
juice.
into
What's
it,
the idea?
they'll watch it. We're not forcing people into our stuff. It doesn't need to be anything other than what we want it to be, which is this. But yes, I would like to know. Are you? God, this is dangerous.
I'm
this
so
is really
scared
dangerous.
of what-
Really dangerous.
Really dangerous.
Okay.
question.
So-
Let's keep it to a real
Whatever comes to your mind
3 minute-ish thing.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there anything?
whatever comes to your mind first.
Yes, big
Like
idea.
not something you've been noodling on for a long time, just something
Whatever
that
it
comes to your
is.
head.
Yeah. Part of my problem in answering this question
Okay.
is
You don't want to give it a giveaway.
no. I've already chased a lot of my big ideas.
Yeah. It is a thing. It is
So,
a thing. You're not one to shy away from chasing your ideas.
And as we've already said, I had a dream of being a Disney animator.
You traced
Yes.
it.
I had a dream of being a film director. I had a dream of being a comedian. I had a dream that one day all of our brothers and sisters will be treated equally. Oh, no, wait, that wasn't me.
Yeah. I liked it though.
Sorry, that should have been in the third one. I put it on the fourth. It's so unfortunate.
No, it was good. It was good.
And then while I was at Loeb, I had a dream for a little startup called Gimme, which I barely pretend even exists. It was a cute
But
shopping
if you
app.
had to dream the big dream.
I know.
Right now, today, what do you wish you had?
Yeah.
What do you wish you could
right now,
develop?
Right now, what I want to do, and I don't know if it's possible, but that's part of the
No,
point of
yeah.
this
She
dream thing.
wanted some sort of
But
mind
right-
control device
I
on one of
know.
our
No,
things.
It wasn't
But
mind
right-
control.
It was something along the
It was to her.
mind
But right
erase.
now,
She's so mad at me now. It was a mind.
you,
I'm
sir,
sorry, it was
have had
erasing.
too much wine.
No, hardly even enough.
Right now, I think.
That's
Look,
It's a sign.
That's some-
studio's falling apart.
It's a sign.
It's a sign. It's a sign that my dream isn't going to come true.
so. If you,
So my
Better
the thing
adhesive?
that I
Is
want
that what
right
that means?
the thing that I want right now, which could be changed at any time, of course, obviously, is I really, I think I have really something special with my current YouTube show. So I have posted 3 episodes in the last 3.5 weeks.
Yep.
It is a startup and tech and like news-ish evaluation show. It's scripted. It's about 20 minutes long. Because otherwise it would never end.
Thank you. I was gonna say, it kind of has to be right. Yeah. Ours is not.
And we have gotten 3,000 views so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm really proud of and was also really unexpected. Our first video, which was on OpenAI's new tool, Sora.
What's the name of the?
It's called Swift Start Go. My middle name is Swift. And then I thought, oh, startups. And then I thought Go was funny.
Carolyn Swift?
Yeah, Carolyn Swift Holden.
Is Swift like a maiden name of someone?
It is an old maiden name. And it's an old maiden name
Oh my God.
to make me
Why
sound...
did I ask this question?
This has a really great payoff, though. Okay?
It's tomorrow.
Please wait for it, okay? Because I get to sound
like a
really
Mayflower
snooty
name.
for a moment. We're going to sound
okay,
really
okay.
snooty.
That's a Mayflower name if I ever heard one. Swift.
Indeed it is. So...
But if it was Taylor, if it was today.
It's an old Mayflower name.
Yeah.
No, not an old, sorry, it's an old maiden name of a family member. And that family line goes all the way to the Mayflower.
Yep.
To an ancestor with a family line that I share with the one you just mentioned, Taylor Swift. I am related to Taylor Swift.
Somehow I knew that when I asked that question.
No shit.
It's like a mind.
How related, we don't know. She does not invite us to the reunion, so like I don't think we really count.
Are you a Swiftie though?
I mean, did I go to the Eras tour? Yes.
Who's not a Swiftie these days? It's good. It's good. It's good.
I honestly, I think her marketing is absolutely unbelievable.
I'm at the point, at this point in my life, no fault of hers, no knock on the adventures she's been on, the music she's made, none of that.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of tired of talking about Swifties and Taylor Swift and stuff. You know, it's just like...
I mean, she's on vacation. She was trying to avoid us.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter who it is. If it's going to be always in front of me, I'm like, can I get a different meal today? Not that one anymore.
It's so funny because she got canceled a while ago, like 8-9 years ago.
That was dumb. People should stop this canceling
It was
bullshit.
it was really dumb. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to be really careful. I don't want to overexpose because I don't want people being like annoyed with me, like with her being like in the spotlight
She's
for
so
too long."
awesome. You can't
and
help
now
but
she's
be a
kind
little
of,
annoyed.
and now she's kind of like, I don't give a fuck.
No, and she shouldn't.
And so now she's just like, I'm just going to go out there and do my thing and see how big can we get this. And I don't care if they
Just
try to
waiting
cancel
for her
me.
like Miley Cyrus explosion. You know how
Miley's
Cyrus
killing
broke out of
it.
Hannah Montana by nakedly being on the cement
you're-
ball? I'm
Right.
just like I feel like Taylor
Or
Swift
who's the other
needs
one
to
before
like
her? Britney
do
Spears.
Have you not seen The Reputation, Aaron?
No, I mean,
quite.
I think Taylor Swift has got it together enough. At this point, she's not. She's
not
not
gonna
going to do
crack
that.
out.
Well, Taylor and I are the same age, so that's also the fun of it. Is like,
You're
I know.
distant
We're distant cousins.
Is the same age as you.
I know. I never finished my big idea. We got excited
Oh
about
Jesus!
Taylor Swift.
But do you imagine? Do you imagine there's a day when we're sitting here with Tay-Tay, and
My cousin
here.
Tay-Tay.
yeah, your cousin. Now that we know, we'll reach out on and
Your cousin suggested we reach out.
yes. Your cousin.
You may not
Carolyn.
know your cousin Carolyn, but she knows you.
Yeah. Do you think that she'll be? I mean, do you think if we ask her a question that she'll answer it more directly, or do you think this is a familial trait where it's like, okay, well, you asked a question, now we're gonna get into this, and it goes on for a while. Do you think she's got some of the same traits, being cousinly like that, being so so closely related?
You know, I don't know that she's coming on this podcast.
Oh, damn it!
That was a good answer. That was a good answer.
But she's had proper
You're
media
breaking my
training,
dreams.
so
You're breaking my
she
dreams.
knows how to do a concise answer.
No,
I'm
it's
sure.
fine.
But
After you've been on here, she might.
But the big idea, so Swift Start Go, is this YouTube show, and I think what I would love to do with it, if I could, I would love to scale it
Yep.
in some sort of a way. and use it as a way to basically become a venture studio like the one that I worked at New York, Loeb NYC.
So like one of these modern venture studios, which I'll give my buddy Janahan Roger Ottman a little shout out, who's got a venture studio here in town. Do you know Jan?
No. Maybe I do.
I'll connect you with Jan.
If
He's a great
Jan
guy.
knows me and I don't know him, that's going to be very
No,
embarrassing.
you
I
would know.
apologize.
Jan, when he knows people, they know him.
It sounds familiar.
Sounds stupid. Felt stupid.
Listen,
Say it.
I meet a lot of people. I go on stage, I
It
tell
could be
jokes.
right. It could be wrong. At this point, who gives a shit?
Listen, I never know what's going on. It's fine. But
Things got weird in hour 2.
But I am someone who's really good at building things, whether it's like a new department in a company or building my own startup or working on something like
I was
a YouTube
thinking
show or
more
something
like,
like
I
that.
love your idea, and
Yeah.
I'm on the dream
Yeah.
with you.
This is
And-
the fictional dream.
No,
You didn't ask
No,
me
there's
to
nothing
be realistic.
fictional about that.
Your
That's not even like.
aspirations have to be huge. They have
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
beyond
yeah.
reach so that you can get there.
There's nothing wrong with that one. That's
Has to
good.
be. You have to break the barriers.
Yeah.
You have so much potential
Thank
that
you.
this is going to happen for you.
So sweet.
And just don't let the vision fall.
Oh, for
don't
sure.
ever doubt it, right?
Yeah.
But I was thinking like, space travel or something. So
It's true.
I know my limits, all right? And my limits are I have no interest in entering the billionaire dick competition. It's just not my jam.
you don't have a dick. That's
don't
the
have a
biggest
dick.
problem with that.
And I'd rather,
But,
do
I think that
something to save the world rather
I think
than
there's a
to
new
escape
era
The
coming.
world doesn't need
And you are going to
saving.
lead it.
Thank
the
you.
new era coming.
I appreciate
World's
the
going to
positive
be fine.
vibes.
We humans may not be fine, but the world doesn't need saving. It's got a 4.5 billion year history prior to our
Sam,
coming here and screwing everything up. It's going to be just fine. After
Sam,
we're
is that
done.
what they taught you at camp?
I think I think I learned this just through. I think it was.
Sam,
life
you need to go
sciences.
back to your camp roots.
God, stop it now. I'm going to have to end this.
Let's end it.
All right,
done.
let's end this.
Yeah. All right. This
All
was
right.
fun. And
You should ask them to.
Caroline?
You should ask me to say like where they can find me on the internet.
Where can we
could-
find you
Yeah.
on the interweb?
Listen, if you would like to find me on the internet, feel free to follow my Instagram. It's just caroline.swift.holden. Make sure it's spelled L-I-N-E, not Y-N. I know my parents spelled my name wrong. Absolutely embarrassing. And also, if you're looking for my YouTube show, Caroline Swift Holden or Swift Start Go should get you there. My website's no dots in there, carolineswiftholden.com. All that jazz. You can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Bam. All right.
Thanks, you guys, for having
what
me.
about this idea? We got to end this one. That's a
do.
good idea. I think we're
Do we
out.
clap? Do we?
Thank you for listening.
We could do a drum roll.
Watch it. No, we're good.
Let's not do
we're out.
anything more.
Thank you.
We are done.
Bye.
Bye.